In October of 2022, I attended Gamehole Con in Madison, Wisconsin. I was walking through the dealer hall and I stopped by Goodman Games to check out their Dungeon Crawl Classics, and I seen this book sitting there, Grimtooths Trapsylvania, a source book for Grimtooths Trapsylvations. Now this is an amazing book. It was published in 2018 and I knew immediately I had to buy it because I love puzzle and trap books. And as I started thumbing through it, I got to page 12 and I had to stop, look up, and laugh out loud. On page 12, restrooms in Trapsylvania. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you two of my favorite toilet traps from Grimtooths Trapsylvania. We'll do a quick review of those trap ideas, but in addition, I was also inspired to come up with my own toilet type trap ideas. So I'll share those with you as well. So in total today, you're going to get about 5 or 6 ideas that you can use in your tabletop role-playing games with the toilet and outhouses. So the first trap that caught my eye in this book was for men only. In an expected place, you find a men's urinal. In the urinal are expected urinal cakes, or are they? A circular white hockey puck-like object is sitting right in the middle, but it is actually made of a substance that explodes when it gets wet. The part of the male anatomy that is likely to be exposed while ejecting liquid into this object is considered by the military to be only 1% of your body. What a way to go. So we're going to start this off with a bang, evidently. We've got exploding urinal cakes, and now this just makes me worried about any time I do go into a restroom in real life. I'm going to be thinking that the entire time. I hope this urinal cake doesn't explode. So a fantastic trap. I don't know how you would run this in a game, but this was a definite funny read. Now the other one that I want to share from this book is a little bit more serious, and this one's called A Tight Spot. So an ordinary bathroom stall with an ordinary toilet inside. Now the door opens into the stall, and the stall is kind of small, so you will find you can't sit on the throne until you close the door. If you flush the toilet, it locks the door, and the water doesn't actually flush, it just keeps coming in until it fills up the entire stall. So after 10 minutes, a drain's going to open, the water runs out, and the door's going to unlock. Can you hold your breath that long? What a way to drown your sorrows. Okay, so I can definitely see the feasibility of this one a little bit more than I did with the urinal cakes. Now, of course, if a character gets poisoned or something like that, and they're going to have some issues, they're going to need to run to the bathroom, and they're going to be able to get in there, not going to be able to sit down until they shut the door, it fills all the way up with water, and we do some constitution checks and make sure that they're able to hold their breath while this whole thing is filled with water. Later it drains, and they come out just looking exhausted. So those are the two traps that you can find in Grimtooths Trapsylvania Traps in the style of Grimtooths. This is a 2018 publication. If you're interested in picking this up, I will put a link in the description below. Now, the next few traps that we're going to go over are going to be creations of my own. So they are going to appear in my own trap book that is slotted for a release in 2024, maybe 2025. We'll have to see. So I hope you enjoyed these as well. And if you are a patron of the channel at the $2 level or higher for the traps that I have created, if you'd like the written version, you can download those today on Patreon. And in fact, I'll throw a couple extra ones in there that we're not going to cover in today's video. Now the most obvious and the most glaring trap that we haven't discussed yet is the mimic, of course, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because everyone knows about the outhouse or the toilet mimic. The toilet could be a mimic, or the toilet could be normal and the outhouse itself will be a mimic. Or maybe the toilet paper roll is a mimic, or the handles that you roll onto. Mimics can be everywhere, they can be anything, and a mimic could easily be an outhouse or a toilet. It's just the way that mimics are. A mimic colony in a bathroom, I guess. Okay, now that the mimics are out of the way, I've got a couple of my own toilet trap creations that I'm super excited about. And the very first one, probably my favorite of the entire bunch, is Number on the Wall. So if you have ever been into a bathroom where these stalls might be a bit vandalized with either drawings or writings or things like that, you may recall seeing seeing for a good time, call, and then a phone number. So I wanted to take that and put it into a tabletop game. So this could actually be in a bathroom stall or an outhouse, but you could honestly put this in any other part of maybe a rundown tavern or something along those lines. And the way that it's going to work is there's going to be 7 numbers that are written on the wall of this outhouse, or this wall that the character is looking at, and this is going to be written in common, and it's going to say for a good time, contact, and then put a name there. Maybe it's Amy or Bill or something like that. And then underneath of that are going to be 7 numbers, and if the character were to touch the very first number, it's going to glow. If they touch the second number, it'll glow, and so on. So if they touch all 7 of the numbers, they will all glow, they'll blink a few times, and then they'll stay lit, and then maybe they'll dissipate or something after that. Or maybe after all 7 are lit, they'll blink, they'll go out, and then they can't be used again. Now, about an hour later or later on in the adventure, whatever character activated all of those numbers is going to be visited either by a succubus or an incubus. And if you're familiar with those demons, then that player character is in for a little bit of trouble. So it should be a great role-playing experience after that. And for a good time, call a demon, I guess. So that's our first trap. The second one is going to be titled, Are You Okay in There? So a lot of people do like to read and take their time when they're in toilet environments. So I am going to play off of that. So in this one, the reading material in this outhouse is going to be a magical trap. While a creature is in the outhouse or the privy and decide to sit and read a magazine, they're going to need to make a DC 15 wisdom saving throw, and on a failure, they're going to be unable to stop reading the articles, and they're going to read that magazine from cover to cover. Now, when they do that, it's going to activate some type of fey magic or something along those lines, and that character is going to, let's just say that time is going to pass different for them. So the other characters might come looking for them, but the character that is reading the magazines, when they come out of the outhouse, they might have been gone for 5 or 10 minutes, but it could be 5 or 10 hours, it could be 5 or 10 days, it could be months. So time is going to swiftly pass by if they fail that saving throw and they read that magazine while they're sitting there in the outhouse or the privy or what have you from cover to cover. And the final idea that I have is quite literally titled Shit Outta Luck. So any character that visits this privy or this outhouse is going to need to make a wisdom saving throw, and if they fail, they're going to be shit out of luck for the next hour, for the next day, whatever it is as a DM that you decide to do. And I'm just going to play that like a Bane type effect. So anytime they make an ability check or a saving throw or an attack roll, they're going to also roll a d4, and they're going to subtract that from the roll. Apparently, the porcelain gods were not looking down on them on that day. So let me know what you thought of these toilet traps. Again, a few of those come from this book, Grimtooths Trapsylvania. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And the other ideas are going to be in my future trap book, hopefully released by end of 2024, maybe 2025. But if you'd like to get that PDF today, you can download that today on Patreon. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of these traps in the comments below and create your own. I'm looking forward to the discussion, and on to the next.